is Wednesday, hump day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the hottest form, the best content as far as Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information you are going to find anywhere. This right here, In My Own Words, the podcast with your man, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, bringing you this from Tuscaloosa, streaming this to you on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, go ahead right now and hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications so that you can have all the updates, alerts, and the coverage on your Crimson Tide. So go ahead right now, hit that subscribe button, and turn on those notifications so you can get your updates on your favorite football program. But as always, got a jam-packed, good, outstanding show prepared for you guys today, and we want you being a part of it. 205-448-1358, the number to call in and let your voice be heard on today. 205-448-1358, phone lines open. 205-448-1358. The show got myself, but also the man that always stirs the drinks and keeps our ears busy with that great sound. We got John Ivory in the building. John, let him hear you today.
Hey, what's up, Tide fans? What's up? I'm ready for a great show. Y'all like to chat up, man. Y'all leave your questions for Steven, man. We're going to be answering them live.
Light the chat up, leave the questions, have the phone lines buzzing. You know what to do here on the show. As always, it's Wednesday, so we got former Alabama wide receiver Matt Caddell coming on a little bit later on in the show to talk Crimson Tide football and breaking down some things from his perspective for the upcoming season. But starting this thing off here with a bit of an update, Alabama wide receiver Devonta Smith is putting in work, ladies and gentlemen. He's been recently training with another former Crimson Tide player, a fellow Louisiana native in Robbie Green, who played defensive back for the Crimson Tide. He was part of that 2009 national championship team. Green that season had 33 tackles, 5 pass breakups. Well, yeah, 5 pass breakups. He also had 1 interception that season, but as we look at this video here on screen here, Devonta Smith working on the route running, the hands, the speed, the burst, the ability to drop his way, explode, just so many things he's trying to craft and perfect in his game. As with Jerry Jeudy gone, with Henry Ruggs now in the NFL, Devonta Smith opens next season, or opens this upcoming season, as being the primary receiver, the number 1 guy for the Crimson Tide. So a chance for him to really turn up, and not just that, an opportunity for him to cash in on a potential first-round stock, first-round draft value. Just seeing how between he and Jalen Waddle, both of those two are going to be fighting to be first-round picks. So Smitty already getting the work in for the upcoming season. But we get into the first topic of conversation on today, folks, and it's Alabama football in terms of Week 1 of the regular season. There have been rumors going around. Nothing has been confirmed, but there have been rumors going around about how if Alabama is not able to play USC, the Southern California Trojans, who would it face in Week 1? And there's a certain Big 12 team that has come up in the rumor mill as the possible opponent for the Crimson Tide. That would be the TCU Horned Frogs. And though Alabama's athletic director Greg Byrne and also TCU's athletic director Jeremiah Duntai have both kind of shot down these rumors, when you look at California for right now, the state of California, since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic hit the U.S., California's been one of those areas that in lockdown and shut down. Not a lot of people traveling out, not a lot of people coming in. They've got the stay-at-home order going on, and according to the LA Times, CNN, also the governor of California has stated how the stay-at-home rule for resident citizens in the area will go on for at least another 3 months. So right now, we're in mid-April, so we're looking at a stay-at-home order going up until July, August. So even at that time, you're still looking at evaluations, people checking the data, checking the analytics, seeing is the state clearing up, is it cleaning up, is it getting better? So right now, with the stay-at-home order going on for another 3 months, there is the possibility of if the state of California is not ready, right, it's not going to allow residents, programs to travel outside the state or people to come inside the state and trying to not be exposed to the virus by any known means possible. So if USC is not able to travel to play against the Crimson Tide, then Alabama's got to come up with a plan B. It has to come up with an alternative plan, seeing how the matchup is scheduled for Saturday, September 5th inside AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Now, along with USC having some issues, the California Golden Bears, who are in Berkeley, have issues as well because TCU is scheduled to play Cal on that same day, Saturday, September 5th. So TCU would have to travel up to California. Once again, if California, the state's there, if no one can travel outside the state, then Alabama, TCU, they've got to come up here with a plan. Now, according to an article in Bleacher Report from one Clay Helton, the head coach of the USC Trojans, he's even thought about having an 11-game conference-only schedule for the Pac-12. Now, does this mean the Pac-12 will sacrifice all of its season-opening non-conference games? Does this mean the Pac-12 has a conference championship game? Does this mean the Pac-12 goes to the college football playoff? We don't know, not sure, but this is one Clay Helton, head coach of the Trojans, at least putting the idea out there that, an 11-game conference schedule for the Pac-12 would not necessarily be a bad idea, just seeing how California is battling in the heat of this whole coronavirus. So that's coming from Clay Helton. And then the athletic director for TCU, as I mentioned, Jeremiah Dante, according to this tweet here from David Davidson here, the reporter for TCU who covers the Horned Frogs for the Fort Worth Telegram Star. He talked about how Drew Davis, who covers TCU for the Telegram Star, he spoke on how even though the Horned Frogs are in position, they're planning to take on Cal. They want to face Cal. They're getting everything set up to face the Golden Bears. In the event that it cannot happen, in the event that it doesn't happen, they want to look at an alternative plan. They want to have a plan B ready and in place. So even with rumors being shot down, you see from Alabama's angle, you see from TCU's angle, you even see from USC's angle, if something were to happen to where Alabama can't play USC, TCU can't play Cal, no Pac-12 team can play in week 1 of a college football season, there's got to be a plan B. There's got to be an alternative idea, an alternative motive here in place. So the idea that's come up is Alabama taking on TCU to start the season in AT&T Stadium. And I wouldn't mind having that idea happen just due to TCU traditionally a pretty solid program. I mean, since it came to the Big 12 in 2012, we're looking at 5 winning seasons, including 3 10-win seasons in 2014, 2015, and 2017. Gary Patterson, to me, one of the more underrated coaches within the conference. TCU traditionally or typically has the Big 12's best defense. Now, in terms of college football as a whole, they have one of the more solid units. Going back to 2014, TCU gave up 19 points a game. 2015, it was a little bit more than that, 27 points per game, but the Horned Frogs were kind of a bend but don't break unit that season, still had a 10-win year, and then 2017 went back down to giving up 19 points a game. Now, of course, last season, it was rough for the Horned Frogs. They finished at 5-7, giving up 26.4 points per game, but since being in the Big 12, last season was probably one of the few really tough seasons for the other team in the conference. So typically what Coach Saban likes to do here is Coach Saban loves to start week 1 of the college football season with a tough opponent, with the marquee team, and trying to gauge where are we, where is Alabama in relation to the ultimate goal, which is winning a national championship? Where are we stacking up with the rest of college football? And ever since 2008, Saban has done a solid job in scheduling some of the biggest marquee or some of the traditional headline big powers that be in the sport. 2008, Alabama took on Clemson. 2009, you have Virginia Tech. 2012, Crimson Tide had Michigan, the Cowboy Classic. 2013, Virginia Tech again. 2014, West Virginia. 2015, those Wisconsin Badgers. 2016, USC. 2017, Florida State. And 2018 in terms of Louisville. So only 3 years where it really didn't take on a power program. 2010, Alabama had San Jose State. 2011, it opened up the season with Kent State, Coach Saban's alma mater. 2019, it opened up the season with Duke. Now, Duke is a little bit on a higher scale than a San Jose State or a Kent State, but still, nobody is in ultimate fear taking on Duke. So 75% of the time since 2008, Alabama has taken on a marquee opponent to start the respective regular season. And the one thing Saban does not want to have happen is first game off the rip, boom, you're taking on Georgia. That's the last thing Coach Saban wants to have happen. First game off the rip, your biggest test, your biggest trial, your biggest hurdle, your biggest matchup is Georgia in week 3 of the college football season. Saban definitely does not want that happening. So to negate that from happening, you're going to have to pin down or pinpoint out a team that is a quality matchup, is a solid matchup, is a sound matchup to give your offense a look, to give your defense a look prior to facing the Bulldogs. And just going back here to TCU would give that look. I mean, like I said, defensively, typically one of the better defenses in the Big 12. It would be a group that could give, Mac Jones a look and how they would play him, whether they would blitz him, whether they would drop 8 back in the coverage, force them to read the coverages. It'll be a good look for, Alabama's offensive line going up against a defensive front that would play physical, that would play fast, that would play sound. It would also be a good test for, Alabama's defense. TCU typically keeps some good offensive talent, some potent offensive players. So an opportunity for Pete Golding, for Sal Sunseri, for Carl Scott, for also Charlie Strong working as a defensive analyst to get things prepared where TCU's offense is concerned, to hit them in the mouth, to either blitz their passing game, to come out for their running backs, to frustrate, its group at wide receiver or its group at tight end. So it would be a quality matchup. It would be a quality draw because people want to see Alabama play, but people actually also want to see Alabama play against a good team, a sound team, a productive team. So a good draw there. It'd be a pretty solid matchup. It would be, a marquee matchup people could watch on TV, and TCU is no pushover. So as much as we would like to see Alabama play USC, right? As much as we want the situation in California to clear up, things to get better, things to improve to where if USC could travel to Texas, USC travels to Texas, Alabama takes on the Trojans, neutral site game, because USC's got talent. Keaton Slovis, the quarterback, freshman year last season, he was a 3,000-yard passer. He's back as a sophomore. They've got wide receivers, including Amnon Ray St. Brown, who's taken over from Michael Pittman Jr., who got drafted. They've got some defensive players as well. So USC's got talent. Is it the same Trojan team from the early 2000s with Pete Carroll? No, but that program still has some heavy hitters on both sides of the ball. So while we would like to see USC, of course, Greg Byrne would like to play USC. USC's athletic director, Mike Bond, would like to see SC take on Alabama. If things are not cleared up in California, once again, we got from now till July, August to look at the data, look at the analytics, see how are things improving. Will the stay-at-home order lift for the state so people can travel out, people can travel in? But if nothing improves, if nothing changes, there's got to be an alternative plan. There's got to be a plan B. So Alabama, TCU would be pretty interesting there. But as we go to our first break here on In My Own Words, the podcast, don't touch that dial, just getting you started here on a Wednesday. Upon our return, we entertain your thoughts, your questions, your texts, your phone calls. Who would you as a Bama fan like to see the Crimson Tide play week 1 if it can't get USC? We'll touch it up right after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We are back into the action here, folks, on a Wednesday, hump day, that being the hottest show on the streets, the best form of Crimson Tide football, news, notes, and information. And, folks, this is your time, Bama Nation, 205-448-1358 to get in on the show, to call in, 205-448-1358. You can also text with that number, leave a voicemail with that number. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button on the channel and turn on those notifications so that you can have all the updates, news, and analysis on your Crimson Tide. But we take our first call of the night that's coming from my man, Waylon. Waylon, what's going on, man?
Hi, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's good to be at TDA. How's everybody doing at TDA, Stephen?
Doing well, man. Just trying to figure out if Alabama couldn't play USC, if USC continues, or the state of California continues with the stay-at-home order, who would Alabama need to pull? Or you as an Alabama fan, who would you like to see Alabama play week 1?
Stephen, I don't know. I haven't thought about that question. Whoever they want to bring up, be
True.
fine with me. It doesn't matter to me. You know, I'll have to leave that decision. That's a little bit above my pay grade, which is down about my ankles. But I don't know how you feel about it. But whatever, you know, they want to play. But, you know, whoever Alabama plays is going to draw a big crowd, big money, and it'll be a good thing. If the Lord's willing, and we do have this season. But, you know, we were talking about toughness the other day, and I was listening to Coach Whip Sanderson's show. I don't know if do you listen to Coach Sanderson some at 100.1 Tide? Do you ever listen to his show any?
From time to time, I know he and his son Barry do a good job.
Yeah, they do a good job. And he had on Coach Bill Curry. And we remember Coach Bill Curry. Coach Bill Curry was a class act. A lot of people didn't treat him that way, said he was a bad coach. You've got to remember something here. Coach Curry played center at 235 pounds. He snapped the ball to the great Bart Starr, to the great Johnny Unitas. And this is what he said about the transfer. You don't even have to ask your coach if you can transfer. Oh, come on. That set Wimp on fire. Wimp was on fire when he asked him the question. This is what he said. He said, when we went to our morning meetings with Coach Lombardi, if you were 5 minutes early sitting in your seat, that meant you were 15 minutes late. That's tough on people, Steve. And that's what we've got away with, a little bit of that toughness on these guys today, and sort of, you know, patting them on the back, which we all need that done to us and build up. But like Coach Curry said, if you didn't do your job back then, 3 or 4 of them guys would go over on the bench and come around you and say, hey, if you don't do your job, we'll catch you out back after the game, we'll whoop you blank. I didn't want to let John hit the edit button there, but I don't know what you think about that. But that's what I wanted to do about the poem is go back to 1989 and with the Alabama-Penn State game. I don't know if you've ever watched that game. Did you remember that game, Stephen? Did you ever see it?
I do vividly.
Yeah, I know you. I remember it very, very well. And like I said, Coach Curry, they went on strike in 1974. I was a kid. The average offensive lineman made $30,000 a year. Of course, that was a lot of money back then, but look what they make now. So think about that also. But I know I got to get off here. A lot of people in the queue. So we're going to go back to the block to a man that wasn't really famous, but a man that was famous after the game was over. So here we go, Crimson Tide fans. It was October the 28th, 1989, when number 6 Alabama rolled into state looking so fine. The 14th ranked Nittany Lions. Gary Hollingsworth. It was the 4th interception he had threw this day. It was the 4th quarter with only 5:31 left to play. After 11 straight running plays, it was just like a flash. They were on Alabama's 1-yard line with 13 seconds left to go with their kicker pass. So kick it was with the clock running down. Alabama crashed the Nittany Lions O-line. In the midst of the crumble, raised a huge right hand. It was 6'7". He was a monster of a man. As the crowd felt silent, their hopes taken away, Thomas Raham became the biggest star Alabama today. All right, Stephen, we'll catch y'all Friday. Y'all be good. Have a good week or a good Thursday. Good talking to y'all. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it, Wang. We got Wang in for his poem of the day. We got another call here on the queue, lighting this up on a hump day. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
What's going on, Steven?
Doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing good. Yeah, you was wanting to know if there's any other teams besides USC, if they couldn't make it.
True. I mean,
I've got one.
Yeah.
I've got one to throw at you. What about where Coach Scott Frost went to? Nebraska.
Scott Frost, Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Nebraska. I wouldn't mind Nebraska. I thought that would be interesting. Now, if he would have stayed at UCF, I would love to see Bama UCF. But Scott Frost at Nebraska, that'd be intriguing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Anyway, I just wanted to throw at you there and see what you thought about it. So
appreciate the call, man. Thank you. Thank you for that thought.
All right,
Alabama and Nebraska. That'd be interesting. The Nebraska Cornhuskers. We also got a great chat line here on YouTube. If you got some questions there. We got questions in the chat line, John?
Yeah, we got a question from Willie 351. He says, Samuel William Wilkinson says, Stephen, when was the last time we played UNC?
When was the last time Bama played you? That's a good one. It's been a minute. I know they've never played North Carolina under the Saban era. It's been a minute. So Alabama, North Carolina would be a good one because they're an up-and-coming program in the ACC. Mac Brown did a great job with the team last year. Came very close to beating Clemson. Should have beaten Clemson. So Alabama, North Carolina, I would go that one. So Samuel William Wilkinson, appreciate the question. I wouldn't mind seeing the Crimson Tide play USC. But as you guys continue, go ahead.
Willie 351 says, if Saban likes to schedule tough opponents to start the season off, we scheduling Duke. Why are we still scheduling Duke for last year?
That's a good question. The reason why that happened was a lot of these games are scheduled off 3 to 4 to sometimes 5 years in advance, right? So if you look back at it, 5 years before scheduling Duke was actually a really good team under David Cutcliffe. I believe they went 10-3 in 2013 or 2014. They went 10-3. They won the ACC Coastal Division, so they were really on the rise that year under Cutcliffe. So Alabama scheduled Duke last season off the idea that Duke was still rising, that Duke was really good, that Duke would be a formidable opponent. So that's the danger of scheduling these games because you're putting these teams on the schedule based off of what they have done previously in hopes that when you play them, they'll be good. So that's just the idea there. But interesting thought here. You look at LeBron Ray. I mean, there are so many people talking about Christian Barmore and the year he could have this upcoming season. And while he will have a monster year, and I'm banking on it right now, him having a monster season, LeBron Ray is another one of those guys on the defensive line, former 5-star out of James Clemens High School in Madison. He was a big-time factor. I remember, talking with Rudy Griffin, former Bama defensive lineman and now the head coach of Bessemer City High School. When James Clemens took on Hewitt-Trussville, LeBron Ray had a twitchiness to him. He had an edge-bending ability to him on the outside that Coach Griffin sort of compared him to Terrell Suggs, who had a great career with the Baltimore Ravens, spent some time also with the Arizona Cardinals as well. So LeBron Ray, another one of those guys. Can he stay healthy? He got hurt this past season, had a foot injury during the South Carolina game, and he gets a chance to, much like Dylan Moses, relive his junior year, his money year. If he can stay healthy, we're looking at potentially another guy that can push for a first-round stock in the 2021 NFL Draft. So as much as we are excited for Christian Barmore, as I am, seeing him on the field in full action and full work and full capability, and watching him wreck quarterbacks, get in the backfield, handle running backs, create negative plays. Watching LeBron Ray get a second opportunity to relive that junior year and take back what injuries robbed from him. Gonna be fun watching the 6'5", near 300-pounder in Ray on that field doing his thing. But we're going to go to another break here on the show. Continue to line us up in the YouTube chat line. Also, 205-448-1358. 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to get in on the Crimson Tide conversation. But upon return, we'll be joined by former Alabama wide receiver Matt Caddell, talking more Bama right after this.
If you want delicious home-style cooking, sushi, and hibachi, check out Otoro Hibachi in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. At home and you can't get away from the TV because the Crimson Tide is about to score? Don't worry, delivery is also available through Waitr and Crimson2go. That's Otoro Hibachi in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And make sure you let them know the good folks at Touchdown Alabama sent you. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We are back into the conversation, folks, on a Wednesday, hump day, the hottest show on the streets, best form of Alabama football, news, notes, and information. In my own words, the podcast. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Go ahead right now and hit that subscribe button. If you have not done so, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that we can continue getting you the best in alerts, updates, news, notes, and coverage on your Crimson Tide, all the Bama football you can handle. But we go to the In My Own Words hotline right now as we pick up my man, former Alabama wide receiver Matt Caddell. Matt, it's Wednesday. You're back in here. Are you ready to have fun?
I'm ready to have fun. Glad to be back on. Let's get it going.
We're ready. We're going to get it popping right now with former Alabama wide receiver Matt Caddell, who played for the Crimson Tide from 2003 to 2007. And Matt, you were one of those guys that was big on the next man up train. You knew how to prepare. Though you played with a lot of receivers, DJ Hall, Keith Brown comes to mind as well, Nikita Stover also, but you knew how to prepare. You knew if my number's called, if John Parker Wilson's depending on me, Coach Nick Saban's depending on me, I'm going to make sure that I'm ready. I am good to go. I'm going to be in the zone. So on last week, Talia Tungavailoa goes into the transfer portal. You have Bryce Young and Paul Tyson both in position for the primary backup role behind Mac Jones, or one of these two could try to fight for, taking the starting position from Jones. So how tough is it to prepare? How tough is it to make sure that even though you're on that roster and you're the next man up, how hard is that preparation?
It's not that hard because if you practice, the way Coach Saban runs his practices, everybody is getting reps. Everybody has to be prepared. You have to take advantage of your opportunity. And so if you're in that, backup role, you want to make the most of your opportunity and be prepared, take advantage of every opportunity it is. And unfortunately, Talia decided to transfer out, wish him the best. But it opens up opportunity for a player like a Bryce Young or a Paul Tyson. And hopefully we'll be able to see who's able to take that next step and compete with Mac Jones for that starting position.
Now, you had a story, Matt, you and I were talking before this show came on about you were in a next man up situation where it was a certain game during your career where, guys didn't play and Coach Saban called your number and you had to go out there and get it done. Just dive into that story and how did that all kind of take place there?
Well, it was Coach Saban's first year, and, Coach Saban changed the culture there and the mindset of the players. And we're playing Tennessee the next day, and we're in the hotel room, going over game plan, getting focused, mentally prepared. And the news breaks that, we're going to have some suspensions. I think 5 players were going to be suspended. And, the way Coach Saban's mindset, the way how he prepared it, he said, hey, this is what's going to happen. We got these players suspended. Don't worry about it. I don't want to hear anything else about it. The next man's going to have to be able to prepare and go play and execute the game plan. And that's how he ran it. And lo and behold, we end up beating Tennessee that year, 41-17. So, it just goes you in the mind of how Coach Saban handles, adverse situations when you have to lose players, and how it gives a great example of how you have to be prepared, kind of that next man up. And like I said earlier, I think it's going to offer a lot of opportunity for Bryce Young and Paul Tyson to really push for that number 1 spot with Mac.
Now, who got the game ball after that 41-17 win over Tennessee? I'm just curious. Who got that game ball, Matt?
I don't know who got the game ball. I think it was a team win. I think everybody we were just so elated because, just being Tennessee, having to go through, suspensions, and we, overcame the adversity and really played a whole 60 minutes, 4 quarters, dominating. I think it was just a team win, one of the greatest team wins in Coach Saban's first year history that year.
If you're just joining the show, ladies and gentlemen, we got a former Alabama wide receiver, Matt Caddell, on the line talking some Crimson Tide football. And Matt, as I mentioned in the first segment here, Alabama wants to play USC. USC wants to play Alabama. But in the event that the stay-at-home order for the state of California, in the event that California does not get cleaned up, the issues are still going on with the coronavirus, and the Trojans can't play Alabama, who would you want to see Alabama play week 1?
Okay, well, I have it broken down. Obviously, if we cannot play USC, I have kind of like my picks from each conference, and I have some requirements. They got to be a top 25 team because we're not going to deal with what we deal with last year.
Okay, I got you.
Having a weak strength of schedule. So my pick out of the Pac-12, I think, would be good. I know you like Oregon, but I would like to see Alabama play If we can't play USC, I'd like to see us play Arizona State. I think that would be a good matchup. They'll be a top 25 program. You know, Herm Edwards versus Coach Saban. They beat Oregon last year. They have a lot of talent. They have a really young, talented quarterback. And I think that would be a good matchup if we couldn't pay USC in the season opener out of the Pac-12. Obviously, if we go to the Big Ten, I know you like Ohio State, obviously. So I think, you know, just the Alabama-Penn State rivalry is just such a great game. You know, James Franklin has kind of changed things up. It's traditionally two blue blood programs, and, you know, they'll be ranked in the top 25. I think they finished, 12 or 13 last year. So I think that'll be a very competitive game. And then lastly, the Big 12, I would just love to see Alabama either play Texas or Oklahoma. I mean, you can't go wrong with those two teams. Both of them definitely, you know, Oklahoma definitely probably ranked in the top 10, and Texas definitely in the top 25. So, you know, those are my picks. And I feel like those were, if I had my choice, those would be my picks if Alabama could not play USC in the season opener.
Now, there could be a couple of trap games on the schedule this upcoming season here, Matt. Which games on the schedule for the Tide would you consider as trap games? You don't see Alabama losing them, but these games could possibly give Alabama a scare.
I have two circled on my calendar, and they both happen to, you know, it's so tough to win on the road in the SEC. You know, everybody brings their A game regardless, but even more so when Alabama's coming to town. And I think the first one just pops out of my head is at Tennessee. You usually look at recruiting right now, and Coach Pruitt, his staff have a lot of momentum. They played us close last year. They're very disciplined on defense, led by Coach Ansley. And they're just a young, up-and-coming team. And I think that's a game, if we don't be prepared, it could easily be a trap game for us. And I think the next one will be Ole Miss. Have to really beat Ole Miss. Tippin will be back. You know, he's going to have the offense prepared. He's going to throw everything at us. There might not be the same talent level, but I just think we have to always – it's going to be a tough game on the road over there in Mississippi. So those right there off the top of my head are like two trap games that Alabama has to be focused and go out there and execute and get a win.
Tennessee and Ole Miss, the two trap games coming from Matt Caddell that the Crimson Tide are going to have to be on their toes and ready for. As always, it's awesome having Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver who played from 2003 to 2007, on the show with us talking Crimson Tide on a Wednesday. Matt, man, you be good, be safe, man, as always. We appreciate your insight.
All right, thank you, man. Look forward to talking to you later.
Got also having Matt Caddell on the show talking some Crimson Tide football. But folks, we're gonna go to another break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we come back, it is your time once again. Your phone calls, your tweets, your thoughts, your questions, your concerns. We're talking Bama right after this.
T-Town Menswear in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month, or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We're back in, folks, from the break. Your time here on a Wednesday, 205-448-1358, 205-448-1358. Phone lines open, flowing, rolling for you to talk Crimson Tide football. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you can get the inside information, news, notes, material, all the Bama football that you can handle. We also have a great YouTube chat line for your thoughts, questions, and concerns as well. But John, we got some information, we got some conversation going in the chat line right now.
Yeah, we got some people that said who they think will be good for a first opponent. Got some rapid fire here for you. Just tell me what you think about these. I am a new creature said UAB.
Man, I would like UAB. Bill Clark's a good coach. I would like UAB. I mean, okay, if I had to grade it, B-. I would like UAB, B-.
Okay, I am a new creature also says Troy.
Troy beat LSU one year. Troy really did beat LSU one year. Like Troy, program on the up and up, coach is good, solid B.
Okay, Anthony says Penn State.
Penn State, traditional, national power. Yep, like Penn State, like James Franklin, as Matt Caddell said in the previous. I like Penn State.
Okay, Randy Smiley says Northern Illinois.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, Randy.
Randy Smiley also says UCLA.
UCLA. Ooh, Chip Kelly over there. Can Chip Kelly bring that program up is the question. I mean, I love Oregon Chip Kelly, but UCLA Chip Kelly, we got to see about that one. So stick a pin in that one.
Whitwell Sports agrees with you. They say Ohio State.
I want to see the Buckeyes, for real. Can Alabama handle Justin Fields in that offense? And even with the Buckeyes losing Jeff Okudah and Chase Young defensively, the Buckeyes tend to reload. So I would want to see that game. I would definitely want to see that game. But continue to throw in your thoughts there. Who would you want to see Alabama play week 1 of the college football season if in some way it could not get Southern California to come down with Texas and play? But interesting thing here, Christian Barmore, I mentioned him in the recent call segment about people are excited to watch this young man play. According to a graphic from Pro Football Focus that came up a couple of days ago, I believe it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, a graphic from Pro Football Focus had Christian Barmore with the highest pass rush rating for a defensive tackle in college football in 2019. He had a pass rush rating of 28%, if I'm not mistaken. Behind him was Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. Kinlaw, who was selected in the NFL draft. So Barmore, a higher pass rush rating than a young man who got drafted. And this is big news. This is a big praise for somebody who, once again, limited action a season ago as a redshirt freshman. Played in 12 games, yes, but 26 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 5 quarterback hurries, 2 pass breakups, got after the quarterback. I remember strolling on Twitter just the other day, and the amount of the Alabama football faithful that were saying, I was upset, Steven. It bothered me. I was ticked off. I was heated. I was foaming at the mouth when I did not see Christian Barmore on the field, because that young man has a fire. He has an energy. He has a passion. He has a toughness. He has a want to be great about him. He wants to be great, on the football field. And I share in that same sentiment. Christian Barmore shares in that same sentiment, because I watched him on the field in moments where he did not get in. And it was like he was jumping up and down, foaming at the mouth, anxious, anxiety, going, Coach, I'm good. Coach, I'm a bad man and I'm pretty. Coach Saban, put me in the game. I can make something shake. I can make something quake. I can make something happen. And when he didn't get in the game, you saw his teammates, whether it was Anthony Jennings or Raekwon Davis or Fadarian Mathis, they had to go over there and literally go, hey, B-Mo, calm down, son. Bruh, calm down, calm down. You gonna get your moment. But B-More not. B-More like, feed me now. I want the steak now. I want the chicken now. I want to get on the field right now. And when he was put on that field, I mean, we all saw it. Quickness, burst, agility, hard hitting, physicality, but not just that. When he would make a hit, the way he would get up and dance, the crowd inside Bryant-Denny would just feed off. But you could just tell when Barmore was about to hit the field, everybody's like, I can't pee right now. I can't go to the concession stand and get my Corona. I can't get my Bud Light. I can't get my Coors. I can't get my beer right now. You want to know why I can't get my beer right now? Because 58 is about to take the field. And if I miss 58 cleaning out somebody's clock, I will not be able to forgive myself. That's how people felt. And you only got that feeling when certain folks took the field, whether it was Tua Tagovailoa from a quarterback standpoint, J.K. Scott from a punting standpoint. Last year we saw Ty Perine coming off the bench as a walk-on who had that type of effect, that same effect. Minkah Fitzpatrick had that effect in 2016. Bama Nation felt like, hey, if I sit here and I take this bathroom break, or if I take this beer run, or if I go up to the concession stand and ask the folks, hey, can I get a 2-piece with fries and tater tots with that? You're going to miss Minkah Fitzpatrick picking the ball off, taking it back to the house for a touchdown, and you're running back from the stadium going, how in the world did the score change? Well, it changed because Minkah had a pick six and you missed it. So that's how people feel about Christian Barmore. You cannot be out of the area with that young man on the field. And it started off against University of Southern Miss. I mean, he comes out in that game. The ball gets snapped. He knifes his way in the backfield. Boom. I mean, the running back just got knocked back like a sack of potatoes. Just knocked back, and people going crazy, teammates going crazy, fans going crazy. So it started off with Southern Miss, and then it went to South Carolina, then it went to Texas A&M, and then he had plays against LSU. He just had plays all over the field last season. So Pro Football Focus not being overly dramatic when they put up that graphic of him having the best pass rush rating for a defensive tackle, and behind him was a Javon Kinlaw. So very excited to see what Barmore does this season. But we take another break here on the show. Continue hitting this up in the YouTube chat line. Continue hitting this up on the phone line, 205-448-1358. You know what to do. Pick up the phone, baby, to get Crimson Tide action, all the Crimson Tide action you can handle. But when we get back from the break, we dive into one Mac Jones and why Alabama should give him the opportunity to fail from start to finish. We touch it up right after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month, or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, Bama Nation, we're back in from the break here on what is the hottest show on the streets, in my own words, the podcast. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, and it's time to get into one Mac Jones, quarterback for the Crimson Tide, and why, in my opinion, his leadership is ideal for this team, to have him as the starter to make this run for a national championship. But not just that, what Alabama needs to give him, or it should give him, from start to finish, the opportunity to fail. And I understand people want to see the future. People are enamored by newness. You look at Bryce Young, 5-star quarterback, hot shot talent, potential phenom, as I should say, and a guy that has a lot of ability and capability to be something really, really special at the capstone here. So as much as people enjoy newness, as much as people are excited for Bryce Young, and don't get me wrong, I like to see what the young man does myself in terms of what he will bring to the table, but at the same time here, Mac Jones, to me, 3 reasons why I feel like his leadership is huge in terms of getting Alabama to a national championship. Number 1, Mac is a very highly competitive human being. When I look at Tua Tagovailoa, as great as Tua was, and as dynamic as Tua was, there are moments where at times I thought about, does losing really bother, affect, hurt Tua? Is Tua really bothered by losing, right? Because the great ones, when they lose, it does something to them physically. Nick Saban hates losing more than he loves winning. Bill Belichick hates losing more than he loves winning. Michael Jordan hates losing. It rips something out of Michael Jordan. So the great ones, when they lose, it bothers them. It frustrates them. It almost takes on a tone of semi-depression for them, if you will. They can't stand losing. And although, Mac has this cackle of a laugh that reminds you of the Joker from Batman, Jones was interviewed a couple of times, quite a few times last season. And in one of the interviews, of which I was a part of, the question that was brought up was his competitive nature, because Jones and Coach Saban talk smack to each other. They talk trash to each other. And they do it for the fun of it. It's friendly smack. It's friendly trash. But, Coach Saban goes at Mac. Mac turns around and throws the nasty back at his head coach. And, of course, Mac was asked about that, and in all seriousness, he goes, I've never been a loser. I've always won. Every program I've been a part of, whether it's Pee Wee League, High School League, Pop Warner League, you name it, I've been a winner everywhere I've been at. Even though there have been, great guys, great talent surrounding me, I've never been a loser. I've always won. And for me, winning is everything. Winning is the most important stat. You can have all the stats in the world, but if you're not winning, what good is it? Like, that's always stuck with me. Losing hurts. Losing bothers me. I hate it. And he ended the conversation, no cackle, no laughter. Serious as a heart attack. Mac Jones hates to lose. Highly competitive young man. He is. And along with that, Coach Saban gave Jacob Coker, Blake Barnett, and Jalen Hurts all a chance to fail. And I know a lot of y'all looking at me like, Steven, what do you mean by that? Here we go right here. Remember the 2015 season, just a minute here. 2015, Jacob Coker was the guy, right? Jacob Coker, he started the year against Wisconsin, had a good game. Now, folks remember what Derrick Henry did, but Coker had a good game nonetheless. And then the next game against Middle Tennessee State, it was decent, but Coach Saban wanted a little bit more. He was like, Coker, you're good, but you can give us more. You're capable of giving us better. And to start the Ole Miss game, Coker is benched for Cooper Bateman. Now, was that the right decision? To me, no, but once again, I'm not Nick Saban. So Cooper Bateman goes out there against Ole Miss, and God help poor kid, he wasn't ready for it, was not ready for it. Had turnovers left and right. Alabama was trailing in that game, dug itself into a huge hole. Jacob Coker comes off the bench and fire mad, ticked off, angry that he was benched to start the game, but he goes out there, leads that team, almost pulls off a dramatic come-from-behind win. Despite losing 43-37, Alabama figures out, hey, Jake Coker's the guy. When you look at 2016, I know a lot of people are going, well, Steven, Alabama threw Jalen Hurts out there. He threw him out there as a freshman. Nick Saban put him out there. Well, the reason why it happened is Blake Barnett, the first ever, 5-star quarterback Alabama brought in under the Saban regime from Corona, California, Santiago High School. Blake Barnett got the first crack at USC that year. He had the first 3 to 4 possessions on the field, deer in headlights, nervous, anxious, Playboy couldn't move the football. And the Trojans had a 6-0 lead in that first quarter. And by the fourth series, Nick going, okay, enough is enough. Gave Blake Barnett a shot. He's struggling. He can't move the ball. Okay, Jalen, get out there. Hurts takes the field with 5 minutes to go, in the first quarter. And remember, his first couple of series didn't result in scores. He had a fumble. He had a 3-and-out. Believe he also had an interception, but he did get his first touchdown in a throw to Ardarius Stewart, and that kind of jump-started it. So even though Jalen wasn't moving the ball in the first few possessions he was out there, Coach Saban left him out there because he gave Blake Barnett the opportunity to fail. Blake Barnett couldn't move the football, and Nick Saban says, okay, we're going to go with Jalen. We tried Blake Barnett. It didn't work. Let's see what Jalen can give us. Let's see what Jalen can provide. And the same thing with Jalen Hurts in 2017. Nick Saban, from start to finish, gave Jalen Hurts the opportunity to fail. And, of course, coach is looking like we have Calvin Ridley, All-American receiver. We got Robert Foster, by far the fastest player on the team. We've got Cam Sims, 6'5", big body target. And we've got Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs III, and Devonta Smith. There is no way on God's green earth that we are not scoring points at will. There is no way that we should not be putting the ball in the end zone, scoring points, having explosive big offense. And as much as the players like Jalen Hurts, as much as they respect the Jalen Hurts, you could see the receivers very much so frustrated when they were not getting the football from Hurts. They were not getting the opportunity to score. And as much as Coach Saban loved Jalen, Coach Saban in the national championship game goes, Hurts, we appreciate you, man, but we need a fire. We need some juice. We need some offense. We need a spark. We need something to happen. And you're good, but we need more. You're good, but you can be better. And because we're having these struggles, we got to go to Tonga Valoa, and we all saw what happened when that move was made. So Coker, Hurts, Barnett, all were given that chance. All were given that opportunity to fail. And I feel like from start to finish, in this upcoming season, Mac Jones has earned that right. He has earned that opportunity to have that chance to prove if he's not the guy, he shows you that he is not the guy. And, also along with that, and going back to, Mac Jones's leadership, Jones has been in just about every venue in college football as a member of the Crimson Tide. He has been in some of the most hostile environments. And when you look at this upcoming season here, Alabama's got to travel to Ole Miss off the rip. Ole Miss, hostile, crazy, Vaught Hemingway Stadium, the Grove, they yell obscenities. They're going to be screaming in your face. They're going to be throwing stuff at you. The Ole Miss atmosphere is not a kind atmosphere. It's crazy. It's wild. It can be fun, but not a very kind atmosphere. And you got to go into that atmosphere. Do you really want to throw Bryce Young in that atmosphere off the rip? No spring practice. No spring. We're trying to see if Alabama's going to have summer practice, but do you really want to throw Bryce Young in all of that craziness off the rip? Then you have to go to Tennessee. Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, all of that craziness. Jeremy Pruitt improving that program. Do you really want to throw Bryce Young in there as the starter off the rip? Then you look at the pit of horror in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Tiger Stadium, where they have Mike the Tiger in an actual cage on the field. These LSU fans singing that song Neck, and you know the lyric to that song that they always sing. You got that going on. Then you also have, the LSU fans egging your car and, throwing those gestures at you, yelling, screaming at you. Do you really want to throw Bryce Young in that also? So there's going to be some hostile environments in the upcoming season. But a guy in Mac Jones who has been in the system going on to his fourth season, he's played in some hostile environments, played against Auburn as the starting guy when Tua went down, played against Michigan. Michigan with a hostile defense, and he was able to do quite well, I must say. So the competitiveness of Mac Jones, the leadership that he has, Alabama has given other quarterbacks a chance to fail. Give Mac Jones the opportunity to prove if he's not the guy, that he's not the guy. Give him that chance to show you what he can really do from start to finish. But as always, Tide fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your Crimson Tide. You can get this by downloading the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You can get it from your iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. We got the podcast options if you feel it. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Overcast.fm, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Friday with more Alabama football. But until next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands' children. Legitimately now, find those ways to not be bored. Get those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself. Protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, spinning my own words.